nothing short of a film in itself. The actor's alleged character assassination, as those are his words, in the aftermath of his unfortunate tragedy. The state on its part, of course, says that they are just following the rule of law. There is going to be no special treatment on the account that he's a celebrity. But is the police unfairly targeting Allu Arjun because he's a celebrity? Though that's a question many are asking. That perhaps the state government and the police wants to send out a message, send out a stance that even the powerful will have to face the law. But in doing so, are they pushing the envelope one step too many far? Questions are being raised about the police's conduct. Many have accused the state of being high-handed. Is the actor being targeted for not coming out in support of the Congress openly? Is he being made to pay for his family's connections? Those are questions that are being asked as well. But there are several twists and turns that this entire saga has taken. There's CCTV footage from December 4th that was released by the police today, a video that's under investigation, but it raises several questions for both sides. To Allu Arjun's team, there is a question that is now coming to the fore of whether there was any collaboration, any coordination before the actor's arrival to Sandhya Theatre with the police. To the police, we want to ask is where were the cops when the gates were open to Sandhya Theatre? You can see the kind of crowd that tried to barge in that CCTV footage, but what you cannot see is one person in uniform, any policeman, nobody around them. Another question for Allu Arjun's team was, why did the actor stay for at least 2 hours after the stampede? Now the police says that he was informed that there was a stampede that was taking place, there was one life that was lost, and yet he chose to be inside. Allu Arjun on his part has said that I wasn't even told about it, and the news of the death only came to me the next day. The question to the police is also that where were the police when the victim was being carried out? There is another CCTV footage that's been released by the police themselves, where you can see people exiting from that particular entrance with 3 people carrying a woman that's unconscious, the victim in this particular case. Again, who do you not see? The police in this case. Why did the bouncers or the personal security guards of Allu Arjun use force against these fans who were trying to enter? You can see one of the bouncers who's now in custody, John Anthony. He is seen wielding a stick and hitting people trying to push them back. But if he was doing so and now he's arrested, the question we want to ask is, why was he only arrested so many days later? It's been 20 days since the actual incident. Allu Arjun was arrested before that. He's been released on bail. He's been questioned. But only today, after 20 days of investigation, the police has finally gone on to take this man into custody. Now, Allu Arjun was questioned for 4 hours today by the Hyderabad police. He perhaps will be taken to the Sandhya Theatre tomorrow. A recreation will probably happen of what exactly happened on that fateful day. But here's what the cops asked him today. Whether the actor was informed of Revati's death, and if he was, then when exactly did that happen? Because the state government has been maintaining that they were informed about this person's death to the manager of Allu Arjun, who eventually went inside the theatre and informed him, a charge that Allu Arjun denies. Another question that was asked during this marathon quizzing by the police today was that did the theatre tell him of a denial of police permission at all? The police says that the theatre owners knew that Allu Arjun was denied permission to come there that day, knowing that there was going to be a security concern, and yet he came there. Did Sandhya Theatre management inform Allu Arjun's team or not was another question that was asked to him. What was the basis of his claims that he made in the press conference on Saturday? Remember, it was an impromptu press conference that Allu Arjun addressed. He made several allegations against the state government. He also went on to say that my credibility of over 2 decades has been sabotaged in just one day. This is nothing but character assassination, is what was asked, is what he had alleged back then as well. Now, the Congress government under Revanth Reddy faces questions of a witch hunt against Allu Arjun. There is a reason to that, many believe. Some believe there is no argument. But the recent developments make us believe that there at least could be a pattern. The timing of it definitely is suspect. Allu Arjun was grilled by the Hyderabad police today, like I said. This was 10 days after he was arrested and eventually released by the High Court on bail because there was no merit that was found in the police's case. He was questioned in response to his claims that he made in that press conference over this past weekend. But while we have the Chief Minister making certain claims in the Assembly, why is the actor not allowed to do so? A Congress leader, on the other hand, now has filed a complaint over a scene in the latest flick, Pushpa 2. The Congress MLC alleged that there is one scene in the film that shows police in a negative light and it's an insult to the law enforcement agencies. He wants action to be taken or that scene to be removed from the film altogether. A minister in Telangana has now questioned the national award that was given to Pushpa. Citing bias against film with social messages, this minister went on to ask that we have better films that could have been given a national award. But why was this film, which promotes smuggling or shows smuggling, why was that awarded with a national award? So the timing of it, like I said, is all suspect. So the Congress may come out and say that it is the rule of law that reigns supreme, but questions are being asked if this is merely a witch hunt by the state government.
Boxer Anthony, who has been arrested, is likely to be taken. Allu Arjun was questioned precisely for 3.5 hours. He arrived here at 11:05. The line of questioning is pretty similar to what we had put out. In fact, he was confronted with the CCTV footage and shown data. They were asked him details like when was it that he got to know about the Stampede, when was it that he was informed about Revati, the woman who died in the Stampede.
It is deliberately insulting the police or cops, some security officers who are working for the people. So that is very objectionable. I went to the police station and given complaint to the Rajkunda police.
ఒక స్మగ్లర్ పాత్రలో ఉండేటువంటి ఒక స్మగ్లింగ్ చేసేటువంటి హీరోలు పోలీస్ అధికారులను పోలీస్ స్టేషన్లలో బయట గట్టలు నిలబెట్టి యథేచ్ఛగా స్మగ్లింగ్ చేసేటువంటి సినిమాలకు మాత్రం కేంద్రం నుంచి అవార్డు వస్తుంది.
Let's open this up. Rachna Reddy, spokesperson of Telangana BJP, Nikul Patel, leader of the Congress, and B. Redana, former IPS officer, joins us on this broadcast. Nikul Patel, let me begin by asking you. The timing of it all does seem suspect as far as the investigation against Allu Arjun goes. Do you think there is any merit in your political rivals claiming that there is in fact a pattern of witch hunt or vendetta by the state government?
See, I would like to say that there is nothing like political vendetta or anything we are having conflict with Allu Arjun. Actually, somebody had filed a complaint as a citizen of our country and the government is pursuing its job. Whatever investigation is happening is a transparent investigation and everyone can see what is happening there. It's only Bharatiya Janata Party and other political rivals want to defame the government over there. We are taking a due course of action and definitely whoever will be offensible will be punished. We know that whenever any security law and order issues are there, if the police is denying the permission, then it's a responsibility of the private management to look into it. And definitely if they have a failure, then it's their responsibility. Ultimately a death of a citizen had happened and the complainant had put the name of Allu Arjun in the complaint and that is why the court had summoned. If Allu Arjun was so sympathetic over them, then he must have reached on the next day once he realized that there is someone death happened into the theatre due to his visit to the theatre.
But the timing of it is all suspect, isn't it? Which is why this vendetta allegation is coming to the fore, Nikul Patel. He was arrested on the 13th, released a day later because there was some delay as far as paperwork was concerned. 10 days later is when the police have called him for questioning. 2 days after, he did a press conference claiming character assassination. Why was he not called for questioning all these days?
See, if you see the entire episode that happened, it happened on 4th and it was a court who summoned Allu Arjun and the government had done his job. Then he was given a bail. The fresh investigation had led to the finding of what happened and what not. Then that is what led to the police to summon him and ask him that what we want to investigate what happened on that day. And as a citizen of the country, it is his responsibility to come to the police station and answer all the questions, whatever is there to help the investigation happen and to find the culprit who is responsible for the entire event and ultimately death of a woman, what happened at that theatre.
Rachna Reddy, this is just law taking its own course. Why should a long rope be given to Allu Arjun? Because he is a celebrity. That's the allegation that the state makes.
Here is the thing, the law taken, and I'm also a lawyer.
So the law taking its own course is when the complainant, the complainant was the husband of the dead woman Revati. He filed a complaint. Now the law taking its own course is when after the investigation they see the sections there are non-bailable sections. So you don't need to give a notice and you can arrest. There was an arrest. Then, in the honorable courts, an interim bail was given based on the fact that the aspect of his involvement, or rather the lack of intention, but the negligence of that entire situation, is for the trial to be decided, and hence, for the time being, we are going to grant him bail. So, as part of that investigation, calling him to the police station for investigation, or having the crime scene analysis, or rather the crime scene to be sketched again tomorrow, is not uncommon in law. What is uncommon is Revant Reddy spending more than half the day on the last day of the assembly just talking about this case. And then what is uncommon is another MLC filing another case today based on the fact that there was some offensive scene against the law enforcement in the movie Now. And then another minister of the Congress talking about who is she to decide about which movie is to be given a national award to or not? All of this is what the Revant Reddy government is doing just to hide their administrative failures. You know what is happening in Telangana? A Nautanki. One Nautanki goes on to the next Nautanki. So, one eventful news cycle spins off into another eventful news cycle. So, this news cycle, because see, in Telangana, recently, an ST girl in a Gurukul, in a government residential a school, suffered food poisoning and she's dead. Nothing about it. No investigation that doesn't talk about her. Nothing. Then, in the chief minister's own constituency, Kodangal, a woman commits suicide, naming the chief minister and the chief minister's brothers, their family, as the reason for her suicide. Okay, we are not going to take it on the face of it that the chief minister or their family is directly responsible, but at least inform us about the investigation. That is what a good administrator does. Be transparent about it, because you and your family are involved. I'm not saying not to investigate into Allu Arjun's case. I'm not saying a courtroom, a crime scene analysis, or an investigation of Allu Arjun, or rather questioning him, is not called for.
So the kind of alacrity that is being shown is not in this case, is not being shown in other cases. B. Redana, do you agree that there seems to be a certain kind of alacrity shown in this case, when several other cases would not get the same kind of attention, just because here there's a celebrity that's involved, there's the media following the story for the longest time?
No. See, I can tell you the procedure. That much. I am not the investigation agency directly. I worked for 38 years in police department. I can tell you the procedures, how it has to be. See, any police station will regularly get not less than 20 to 200 requisitions for granting permission for on various occasions. Police department will take it and ask the concerned person to show who is all coming. Is the venue is accommodative for the people who are coming? What are the procedures you are following? What are the means and other things you are following there? And who is this officer who is VIP who is coming there? What is his security responsibility? Are they having any security, personal security? Is he having any threats from Naxalites and other organizations? And so on. If it is a stage, which stage is good equipped, and electricity, he has to take permission from electricity department. With all that, if they want any security from the police department, they have to pay challan for each constable, something like 65 rupees, head constable for 85 rupees, and a SI for 105 or something like that. And they have to take a written permission from the police station. Then only you are granted to take permission from the police department. Otherwise, if somebody gives an application that doesn't mean that you are granted permission. That is one thing. Suppose if you are coming on a procession, if it is a public place, then you have to inform in advance, and from where to where you are coming, because it happens to be in a big place, where 10 to 11 theatres are there. Our actor is having good fan following. So basing on that, they are supposed to theatre people has to take prior permission and also apprise it the same thing to the actor. That should have been in a better way. I don't know whether he has informed or not. We don't know, because
so is there lack of communication in this particular case, lack of preparedness, you would say? Because this video that was put out by the state government themselves today also shows how there was this crowd.
They have to take a written permission.
Sure, so that permission was there or not, we don't know yet, because there is a letter that's in public domain that asked for this permission. Whether that permission was given or no, if yes, then why has the state government not put that out? That's a question that's being asked as well. But Mr. Redden, I also want to ask you, these visuals that have come to the fore, it's a CCTV footage that has been released by the cops themselves, in which you can see one of the security private security personnel of the actor wielding a stick and trying to push back these people who barged into the theatre when the gates were open. But where was the police? Why was this happening? And if this was on CCTV, this happened on the 4th of December, then why was that man only arrested today?
No, I'll tell you, because the police has to collect the entire evidence, then only they have to lay hands. Otherwise, tomorrow anybody can blame, because he is an actor's gentleman, that's why you have arrested him. See, this security personnel, private security personnel are doing all kinds of nonsense. They are being arrested in earlier cases also, because they are not trained. They think that they are the highest powerful police officers because they are protecting VIP. They are thinking like that. Their duty is to protect the VIP from others, not to threaten others, not to beat others, not to push others, doing inconvenience to the public. They kept for the purpose of to safeguard the VIP. Leaving that, they are doing all kinds of atrocities. You have seen many other things also, many other professions also, it is happening. They are not trained, they were not given permission. How can they behave like this? The case should be registered. There are so many occasions where cases were registered against the gunmen, private gunmen, arrested them and seized their weapons, because they were not trained. Suppose if a old man is standing there, if he push, if he falls down on the back, he will die immediately. So he should be properly trained to protect the VIP.
Sure, this just further goes on to show how there was lack of coordination between the theatre management, between Allu Arjun's team and between the local administration there, who eventually were present. We did see police women trying to conduct CPR on the victim who unfortunately passed away. But Rachna Reddy, as far as this entire case goes, we have one Congress leader after another coming out and making certain statements, which is why also, like I said, the timing seems to be all suspect. One of the ministers in the state came out and said that why give a national award to a film like this. Another MLA came out and said that we will boycott his films if he does not face the law. These kind of commentary that comes to the fore from the Congress, is that warranted?
Actually, it is not, because here is the thing, ma'am. I agree with Mr. Redden, because I'm a lawyer as well. The fact of the investigation and the fact that several arrests will be made at different points of time, including Allu Arjun's was made, I think, about a week or 10 days after the fact of the incident. Yes, arrests are made as and when evidences are cleared and prima facie cases established. Having said that, the fact of investigation, the fact of filing of a charge sheet or a trial or the case of a criminal analysis of the entire scene of the crime is part of what the law enforcement does. Now, here the ministers and MLC, today an MLC filed a case on one particular scene that apparently is offensive and that the cops have to find offense with it. He filed a case on that. And then there is a minister who has a lot of work of herself to do as far as her own ministry is concerned, and no work is happening here in Telangana. She comes out and states that why should Pushpa be given national award? See, we are not stating here that a celebrity should be treated differently from a common man. It's good, thank God, that the law in this country works the same for a celebrity or a common man. But let it be, let the law take its course. Why is, like, day before yesterday, the day Allu Arjun spoke in a news conference or in a press conference, which he ought not to have done. I mean, he should not have spoken when he is an accused, A11 in a case. That's not done, because every single syllable is going to be used against him in a charge sheet, in a trial, in a court of law. And they have a right to do that.
But if there are no conditions that have been set, if there are no conditions that have been set by the court when his bail was given that he should not be speaking about his case, many would argue that he too is well within his rights to say what he wants.
That's not how the legal system works. I mean, the conditional bail, based on what conditions were there in his bail, etc. Even then, not speaking to the press. See, when a matter is sub judice in front of the courts, speaking to the press means trying to swerve an opinion one way or the other.
Sure.
Trying to state, or rather trying to plant your version into the media, or rather into the public perception.
Sure,
and
so is that something that can go against him even when the legal battle goes from here on? But Nikul Patel, as far as the state government and the police is concerned, questions of callousness, questions of high-handedness are being raised of the police as well. But if those allegations are being raised, are they being probed? The police can't be probing themselves now, can they?
See, if you see the sections imposed on Allu Arjun is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 105 and 118/1. Both have a serious implications on imprisonment, and that is why the proper and thorough investigation has to be done. Otherwise, this Bharatiya Janata Party will say that these people are vindictive and they want to do such things. I would like to just say, and I appreciate our fellow panelists, that he said what is the procedure. Asking permission doesn't mean that you are granted. As what happened in Uttar Pradesh, Bharatiya Janata Party government didn't allow Rahul Gandhi to visit Sambal. They have restricted themselves there. It was the Rahul Gandhi was visiting, but Allu Arjun had visited without getting the permission, and definitely it is a private property, and private property is not the responsibility of the government. Firstly, what I think and what I believe as the law, what I feel. Secondly, if Allu Arjun is a celebrity, it is his own responsibility to carry out the activity in his own way, and he must be very much sensible what is happening and how it is happening. Bharatiya Janata Party wants to create a mesh. We are not vindictive. We are only following the due procedure as per what the court is giving the guideline. And definitely the law is supreme in the country and everyone has to follow it. For investigation, if Allu Arjun has to come to the police station, I think Bharatiya Janata Party must not have any problem.
So law will take its own course, celebrity
Absolutely
or not,
not.
celebrity or not, action will have to be taken, but questions are being raised of the state government, and like I said, there seems to be a pattern. On a lighter note, as far as the film is concerned, the character that Allu Arjun plays is in the film seen wanting to topple a state government. Many would say that's the postscript that's playing out as far as Telangana is concerned. Is that why we're seeing this kind of alacrity in the investigation? But I have to leave it there. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak. It is time for a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के जरिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के जरिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है, कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT-NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईजिली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में
Thank you for staying with us. Shyam Benegal, an acclaimed film director who heralded a new era in India's cinema, has passed away. He passed away yesterday at the age of 90 following a long battle with chronic kidney illness. Tributes continue to pour in as his passing marks the end of a glorious chapter of Indian cinema. He was laid to rest today with state honours with a 21-gun salute in the financial capital of the country. Nazruddin Shah, Gulzar, Javed Akhtar, Boman Irani, among others, paid their last respects to the legend. Shyam Benegal, who paved the way for a brave new world of filmmaking, definitely leaves behind a big void.
Renowned filmmaker, a man who broke away from mainstream cinema, Shyam Benegal breathed his last in Mumbai. Happy birthday to you. The filmmaker, who celebrated his 90th birthday only last week, was working on multiple projects despite the physical challenges he endured. Frequent visits to the hospital for dialysis did not stop Benegal from doing what he was most passionate about. Such was his dedication. With a career spanning across 5 decades, Benegal was popularly known as the man who pioneered the parallel cinema movement in India in the 1970s and the 1980s. From popular hits like Ankur and Mandi to India's first crowd-funded film, Manthan, his work soon turned into fan favourites, and Benegal emerged as a household name in no time.
I articulated my desire to be a filmmaker much earlier than when I was 20. I knew I wanted to make films since I was 6 years old. But the fact is that I actually made a film when I was 12. And then, of course, it was stuck in my mind that that's what I was going to do for my, as my vocation, you know. Whether it was going to be a profession or not, I didn't know.
Born in 1934, Benegal began his career with the advertising industry, producing over 900 advertisements. His filmmaking career began at just 12 years old, and Benegal created his first film using a camera gifted by his father. Benegal's films drew a stark depiction to the reality of Indian society. He was known as the voice for the voiceless and was rightfully honoured for his work by the Government of India with the Padma Shri in 1976 and the Padma Bhushan in 1991. Benegal also received the highest honour in Indian cinema, Dada Saheb Phalke Award, in 2005. He was indeed the stalwart who revolutionized Hindi cinema with social realism. Shyam Benegal's death has left a void in the film industry and a legacy that will be remembered by generations to come.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन कि मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के जरिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के जरिए आता है कुछ। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT-NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईजिली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना।
Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. For the first time since he took over as the Prime Minister a decade ago, yesterday Narendra Modi attended the Christmas celebrations hosted by Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. He interacted with key leaders from the Christian community. He recalled his meeting with Pope Francis earlier this year during the G7 summit in Italy. Prime Minister Modi said that the teachings of Lord Christ celebrate love, harmony and brotherhood, and it's important for all to make that spirit stronger. He said it pained him that there were attempts to spread violence and cause disruption in society. But now this call for unity has irked some in India. Over 200 prominent individuals signed a joint statement expressing grave concern over the increasing persecution of Christians in India. They saw the Prime Minister's participation in the celebrations yesterday as an attempt by the government to legitimize its inaction to protect the Christians in this country. There were several objections that they raised in this particular statement. They went on to say that the plight of persecuted Christians was being ignored by this Catholic body that invited the Prime Minister, that there was a significant surge in violence against Christians in the country. There's inaction in protecting rights of Christians in this country was also the allegation that was made. They also said that Hindutva nationalism was a reason for this violence against Christians and that Christians in India were attacked for following their faith, which is against the constitution. But even as we see the Prime Minister making this call for unity for Sabka Saath, is the Prime Minister's outreach being trivialized? That's what we ask on Plain Speak.
Some people have been arrested just for having kept Bible in their home. Christians do keep copies of Bible with respect. Bible is not a terroristic manual, and he is not doing anything to stop the fringe, so-called fringe elements of Sangha Parivar.
No amount of this fake narrative peddling by this group of motivated individuals as this clique will change the reality and the truth.
Let's open this up. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the BJP, rejoining us shortly. Sujata Paul, spokesperson of the Congress, is with us. And John Dayal, writer and activist, is with us as well. John Dayal, let me begin by asking you, because you're one of the signatories to the statement that has come to the fore. Why do you think that the decision by the Catholic Bishops' Organization to call the Prime Minister yesterday was a wrong one? Or that it was only for tokenism?
May I wish you and your viewers a very Merry Christmas and all the peace of Christ that goes for the occasion. There is nothing wrong in the bishops inviting anyone. If they're sovereign right, they can invite anybody. But to invite them at the time of Christmas without commenting on the rampant violence against the community, against Muslims and against Dalits and tribals and many others in this country is trivializing the whole occasion. You are bowing to the urge of an individual for a photo opportunity. In the last 3 days, he has had these photo opportunities more than once. He met lots of people, including many of these bishops, when he went to the home of his minister, the only Christian minister in his cabinet at last. He met them there. He met earlier other people. It is not meeting bishops or Christians that is desired. It's to be seen, to be visiting. You saw how he visited. He doesn't have the wherewithal on how to behave in front of the baby Jesus. You don't offer flowers to the baby Jesus. You go and kiss his toe. I, as a Catholic, will do it tonight. It's not at all about Christmas. It is about how you want certain eyeballs. You want a certain international image. You're going to Germany, you're going to all over the place. You have concern about people wounded, and a correct concern, I must say, wounded and killed in Germany when a truck drives into the Christmas market. You don't have any concern for the people being killed on a daily basis of all communities in Manipur. You haven't uttered a word of anything that has been happening here. You're talking of peace elsewhere in the world. You're not talking of community peace in India. You're not talking of how people can live with each other in peace. You're not condemning violence by your own people. Therefore, you're not condemning it. And lastly, if I may say so, if you find a single fault, a single lie, a single mistake in a statement, let me know. I'll apologize and surrender myself to whatever punishment there is. That is the whole point. We point it out day in and day out. And we hope, and we still hope, that our leaders, our religious leaders, they're not our political leaders, they're religious leaders, that they will find occasion to stand by their wounded people, to stand by those who have been killed, by stand with those who have been ostracized. People have been denied burial, people have been denied food, people have been told that you can't live in a village unless you confirm the majority religion.
Rohan Gupta, so the allegation against the Prime Minister and the BJP is that this outreach, as the BJP calls it, is not one for actions but is only for cameras. There's a list of instances that this letter, this joint statement that has been put out also goes on to say. They say that when the BJP came into power in 2014, there were 127 incidents against Christians in this country. That rose to 745 incidents in this year just alone.
And these are the only known ones.
Rohan Gupta.
See, Poonam, first of all, I think the way when PM goes on invitation and when celebrations are going on and we politicize such issues, I think that is not done. PM has always said Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, point number one. Point number two, when you talk about secularism, when you talk about appeasement, there is a very thin line. We have to ensure, Poonam, that when this line is crossed, then there is an issue. Everybody wants Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Nobody is against any particular community. But at the same time, we have to see that are we going in the line of appeasement? Whenever you see left party or Congress party, you see any statement. I am again giving example of Bangladesh. There were 4 months before which Bangladesh incident started. None of the opposition party leaders, whether it is Congress or anybody, came out and speak. After Maharashtra elections, they came out openly and started speaking. So my point here is, there is a very thin line between secularism and appeasement. If that line is maintained by everybody, I think that will be good for the democracy of this country. I'm not saying, suppose there are factors, there are going extreme also in case of, supporters of BJP or anybody. I'm against them also. Any kind of extremism is not that good. But at the same time, when it comes to appeasement, the stand of all the parties should be one. You are opposing Waqf Amendment Bill. You are opposing UCC. Don't you feel that means opposing your constitution? Because UCC is not for particular community. It is for everybody. Then why you are opposing UCC? Why you are opposing Waqf Amendment Bill? So my point here is...
Sure, but the issue here, Rohan Gupta, is not that. The issue here is that there is a certain community that feels that the government of the day is not doing enough for them.
See, it is not about community. Prime Minister has been invited to the function by Christians only, by the priest only. So you cannot say that is a common, feedback or the common view of the whole community. That's what I'm saying. He has gone on the invitation. So are you trying to say that people or the priest who invited him, he is against the community? So that is my point here.
Sujata Paul, let me get you in as well. As far as walking the talk is concerned, John Dayal, I'll get you back in, but Sujata Paul has been waiting as well. Sujata Paul, as far as walking the talk is concerned, there are many instances, and this is not the first time, that the Prime Minister has hosted members of the Christian community, or that he's visited a church. He's done that in the past on Easter. He's met with leaders from the community last Christmas as well. But if we see these invitations coming to the fore time and again, then maybe some within the community feel that that all's well, like the BJP says.
The Christian community is one of the most peace-loving communities, and when they are targeted, and you asked me a question about the Prime Minister going to various churches, I want to know, has he visited any of those churches, almost 300 of those churches which have been burnt down in Manipur? The way people of the Northeast are treated in the BJP rule in a place like Delhi, which is the capital, these rend your heart. The fact is that when people barge into the homes of Christians, when there are cases on false cases, false allegations of forceful conversions, and cases are filed on pastors, who is responsible? And what is Mr. Modi saying today? He's the Prime Minister of this majestic country. And when he is the Prime Minister and he says he is one of the most powerful, and his party men say that he is the most powerful in the world, he cannot stop these fringe elements from attacking Christians. And today, only for a photo op does he visit and does he make these statements. Because the data which a previous panelist was mentioning has been collected by United Christian Forum, UCF, and they have clearly mentioned all those cases where the Christians have been denied access to water from community water sources like tube wells, etc., where dead Christians have been refused burial, where they have had to be cremated forcefully by these people. Who are these people? These are BJP ruled states that we are talking about. The UCF has reported that in 19 of the 28 states of India, the Christians are being selectively targeted, discriminated against. And the violence is not restricted, in some remote area. I live in the capital of Uttarakhand, Dehradun. And I have heard of instances which have been reported where people have barged into people's homes. And I know that the Christian community is scared. They are totally intimidated. So what were we talking about when we were talking
So
about
Rohan Gupta, then the Prime Minister. Sure. So then Rohan Gupta, the Prime Minister.
Just a second, Poonam. He should remember that the 1971 war took place so that the condemnation, the discrimination, the violence against the minorities, the Hindus and the Christians in Bangladesh would stop. Has he forgotten that?
So then, Rohan Gupta, your response to that the Prime Minister may be saying one thing and putting on a certain image of what the government stands for, but that's not percolating to what's happening on ground, because BJP governments across the country seem to be failing in stopping these instances.
I don't agree, Poonam. See, at the end of the day, again I am telling, Prime Minister has gone on the invitation of the Christian community. So you cannot say that all the Christians are against Prime Minister or something. That is absolutely wrong. There can be class of people like leftist parties or Congress, they can have opposition to Prime Minister, but you cannot say that is the community's opposition. Again, Poonam, I completely agree. Any government in force, any of such incidents, we must condemn and we should take action. And Prime Minister has always said that. But that cannot be linked with the intention of the Prime Minister. There are fringe elements everywhere. Even in the Kerala, the local BJP leaders have strictly condemned the kind of intimidation which was happening there. So you cannot generalize on the basis of particular individual statement or particular individual actions about Prime Minister or BJP at large. We have to discriminate between two. There are 10 such examples I can give. The leaders of Congress party, they have spoken against Prime Minister. They have spoken against Hindu community. So does that mean that is a stand of Congress party? Again, I am going back to Bangladesh. They are talking about minority rights. You tell me one statement where the Congress party or left parties, they have raised voice of minorities in Bangladesh. It was not only about Hindus, it was about Christians also. When Prime Minister
those voices were raised. They were raised in Parliament as well, Rohan Gupta, by the Congress party and many within the India bloc. But John Dayal, let me get you in. As far as this particular instance is concerned, is it a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of a situation for the BJP? Because many would suggest that that's the case.
Ron is quite right. Of the 3 crore Christians, I cannot say every single one of them opposes Mr. Modi. For the same reason that out of the 1 billion Hindus, not all of them love Mr. Modi. Many of them vote against him time and again. They defeat him in state by state. So not all Hindus love Mr. Modi. Let's get that out of the picture. Rohan is not speaking on the issue. Are Christians being persecuted or they're not being persecuted? Am I making up my data or is the data based? And if the data is true, why does not Mr. Modi open his mouth? That is the point. Getting photographed, bowing to the baby Jesus, all of that is fine. And we are very happy that he's bowing to the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace, absolutely. But he doesn't open his mouth. He doesn't open his mouth to people who are hurted, who are injured by this violence. He doesn't go to Manipur. He doesn't tell Mr. Yogi, do not arrest pastors who are praying. Do not arrest mothers and parents who are celebrating the birth of a child. Do not keep 120 pastors in jail on Christmas Day. Don't do that, please. We are citizens. We are citizens. We want safety in Bangladesh and we want safety in our own homeland.
Rohan Gupta, these allegations have come to the fore from multiple states, not just from Manipur that both John Dayal and Sujata Paul are talking about, but also from Assam. That there's a certain law which has been passed there that seems to be unfairly targeting the Christian community or pastors from doing their job. That's the allegation that they make.
See, Poonam, first of all, when the allegations are made, right, I agree, completely agree that this kind of incident should not happen. But you cannot generalize the statement based on the particular incident that this is the line of the party. If that is the case, Goa is the state where Christians are the second largest community and BJP is in power there. I'm not defending anybody here. I'm just trying to tell that you please don't generalize the statement based on particular incidents, point number one. Mr. Modi went on the invitation of the priest on the celebration of Christmas. Point number two, we should not politicize this kind of issues and we should just limit it to the celebration. And if you feel there is no difference between what you say and what you act,
sure, but Sujata Paul,
at the time of Bangladesh.
Sure, but Sujata Paul, can you deny that it was indeed at the invitation of a body that is believed to represent Catholics of this country? It's the biggest body that represents the community in the country.
The Catholic bishops.
The invitation has come at their behest, not for the Prime Minister to have gone ahead.
If the Prime Minister
there is no problem in him being invited. He's the Prime Minister of everybody. He is the Prime Minister of the entire country. He's not the Prime Minister of the BJP alone. And he should be invited. And I would invite him to my home if he was willing to come. What is wrong in that? But the point is not that. The point is that have you forgotten what happened to Father Stan Swami? I cannot imagine that in my country an 85-year-old was denied a sipper. Well, the Prime Minister could have intervened at that time. And when Christians are being persecuted, discriminated against and violence is being unleashed against them, why does the Prime Minister, instead of just speaking at this particular forum or any other forum, give clear directions that these elements who are creating havoc in the lives of the minorities should be put to,
But the Prime Minister did speak of attempts that were being made as far as disrupting harmony is concerned. He spoke of the attack at the Germany Christmas market as well.
So
he did speak of unity. He did speak of unity and harmony as well.
No, so he should stop it. He says he's ek akela sab pe bhari. He's 56-inch ka chest. Why can't he stop it in the country? Because it benefits the BJP.
Rohan Gupta, it benefits the BJP to keep this sort of pot boiling, to keep this kind of polarization is the allegation.
They want to see politics and each and every incident. This is their problem. When Bangladesh happens, when all the minorities were in problem, 4 months they could not speak anything. Why? Because they were fearing that their appeasement politics. Please don't keep speaking between.
But this is not just about what the Congress did. Okay, Sujata Paul, just a second, please. He didn't interrupt you. Let him finish.
Whenever their appeasement politics is under danger, they raise the voice. Why they were silent about Christians in Bangladesh for 4 months? I am asking this question. Mr. Prime Minister has gone on the invitation of the priest and they are making political issue out of it. Why?
Sure. So John Dayal, maybe the Prime Minister should have said more. John Dayal, maybe the Prime Minister should have said more to allay fears. But was yesterday the occasion to do so? Many would say it wasn't. Nor the platform.
No, my dear
it was
Rohan,
even more so.
We are roaming from Germany to Bangladesh. Why are we not speaking about India? Why are 100 almost pastors still under arrest in Uttar Pradesh on Christmas Eve? Will somebody please answer me that? They are not in Germany.
But there are cases against them. That is a rule of law. If they are innocent, then they will be they will be acquitted by court.
They've not been brought to court. They have not been brought to court. No charge has been made against them. They just put there, bail has been refused. But it is the biggest.
Sure, so there is some sort of fear, some sort of apprehension as far as the Christian community goes. The Prime Minister yesterday did try to address some of them, but the political war of words over this visit and the engagement of the Prime Minister continues. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to leave it there. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak. It's a wrap from my side here.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के जरिए जो गाँव आगे हैं, वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के जरिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईज़िली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना, मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं। कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जब तक उनको वहाँ पे मतलब किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा, किसी के साथ बातचीत नहीं होगी, इतना इजी तो है नहीं कि ये आटे का थैला तो नहीं है ना इंसान हाथ में लेके थमा के चलेगा। मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ थे पुलिस के, मतलब जिनको पता था कि मैं करती हूँ और उनको पता था ये यहाँ से आती है जाती है रोज, मतलब इसको लाना होता है 50,000 का भी, 10,000 का भी, 20,000 का भी। हाँ, इट्स मतलब कॉमन थिंग है। मैं भी उनको मतलब इवन के मतलब कभी कभार ऐसा होता था, फिर वो बोलते थे नहीं अब आप हमारे साथ एक सौदा कर लो, अगर तुम महीने में मतलब 4 लाख 5 लाख का लाती हो, चलो हमें भी 50,000 दिया करो महीने में। Yes, exactly. हाँ बिल्कुल।
In past also we have done a lot of seizures. In past also 10 kg this narcotics was seized. That was.
Dominates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan, coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. Well, in Telangana, it's a saga of postscript with twists and Pushpa 2 premiere after the Pushpa 2 premiere theatre Stampede. Now, the Hyderabad police sent Allu Arjun a notice summoning him for questioning earlier in the day over this entire Stampede episode. The actor left his home at about 10:35 a.m. this morning and he was questioned for nearly 4 hours by the cops. He arrived at the police station at 11 a.m. and left around 2:45